these shows is essentially a way for designers and brands and labels to showcase what's their next in line in terms of the collections that they have. They would usually show a season in advance. So, ibig sabihin, kung nag-Fashion Week ang Milan ngayon, ang ipinapakita nila is the Spring-Summer for 2025. Currently, in New York, in Milan, and in Paris, it's the fall-winter season. So, taglagas, taglamig. The fall-winter season would eventually lead for designers to showcase their spring-summer wear so that there is an anticipation for what's going to happen in the spring-summer season. And this is a way for brands and labels to invite editors, to invite buyers from different large department stores and companies all over the world to look at the items that they might want to purchase for their respective stores and for their respective franchise partnerships and carry over in the countries that they have. So essentially, Fashion Week is there to promote sales. It's a business. We have to always remember that even if there is a lot of creativity in this industry, the bottom line still remains na ang fashion industry is an industry built on the bottom line, which is revenues. So the Fashion Week initially was to give ample time for the labels, the designers, the brand owners, the company who owns these large conglomerate fashion brands and luxury brands to have time to have it produced. So what happens here is that they will, designers and the brands would showcase their wares, their collections, the clothes that they're going to release, the accessories, the bags, the leather goods, etc. For the shows. And then after that, they can have a meeting with the buyers, where the buyers from Indonesia, from Malaysia, from the Philippines, from Thailand would pick what are the clothes that they will order and provide with them quantities of how much are they going to order for the next season. That way, the labels, the designers will include in their production yung mga orders na in-order ng mga buyers. So that is the one of the main reasons in the business side why we have fashion weeks. Yung mga brands like let's say Max Mara, Loewe, mga brands in New York like DCBG, Alaya, and the like. Lahat ng mga buyers pupunta doon, titingnan kung ano yung mga damit na meron sa mga fashion shows nila, and then meron silang what do you call this? Meron silang appointment where they will talk to the merchandisers ng mga brands. Pag-uusapan nila kung ano yung mga styles na i-carry ng tindahan nila so that meron silang laman in the next spring-summer na collection. That way, there is an ability to adjust if in case na hindi pwede sa amin sa Indonesia yung ganito kakapal na fabrics dahil mainit sa amin. Or we cannot carry, you know, see-through na mga clothes dahil it's a conservative country. Or it's a no-no for us, you know, socially to show cleavage, for example, in public. So these are the things that they would communicate with the buyers, and then magkakaroon ng adjustments based on what are the expectations from each side. Usually, sometimes, may mga nakikita kayo at the fashion shows that is not the exact same thing that is seen on their stores because of this, you know, negotiation, this talk discussion between the labels, the designers versus the what do you call this? Versus the buyers of the collection. Because ultimately, the main factor that is being considered here at the buying process is commerciality. Ibig sabihin, kaya bang ibenta ng mga buyers ito kung hindi babaguhin yung tela, hindi babaguhin yung kulay, or hindi magkaroon ng konting adjustment sa length ng skirts, length ng dresses. So these are the things that is communicated so that the brand will be able to, you know, make adjustments if needed be. Now, that is on the buyer na side. So, saan pumapasok dito yung role of the editors, the stylists at the magazines? Usually, the likes of Anna Wintour, Ana Del Russo, sino pa ba, sina Grace Coddington, they are seated at the front row of the fashion shows because they need to plan in advance what are the fashion items or what are the clothes that they're going to feature in their next editions. Ang mga magazines, especially in the US, they would usually have like a 2 to 3 month lead time from the time that they start the planning of their editions to the actual production of the shoot, actual printing of the issue for that month. Excuse me. So that allows them lead time in order to borrow this merchandise, borrow these clothes, have them shoot, return it back to the brands, because these brands would usually have maybe 1 or 2 copies of the items that they have in the shows. Maybe a maximum of 5 or 12 pieces perhaps, dependent on how big the brand is. Some brands who have lots of budget for loaning merchandise, they can have as much as like 20 samples that they can send out to different magazines for borrowing. However, not everybody has that same level of deep pockets. So some of them would have maybe maximum of 5. Sometimes they even have just 1 or 2 samples that they can loan for shoots. So these clothes, once they are done with, let's say, Vogue US, they are also borrowed or loaned to other titles, whether it's V Magazine or Vanity Fair or perhaps Vogue Italia or the French Vogue. So umiikot itong mga damit na ito doon sa mga different publications. That is something that they need to do, pre-plan these shoots, these styling of these clothes, so that when it comes to when it comes to the publication or the publishing of their editions, they are in advance. Hindi pwedeng sagad na sagad doon sa deadline yung publication ng mga magazines. If you haven't noticed, the magazine editions are released maybe 2 or 1 week or 2 weeks before its issue date. So if it's September Vogue, August pa lang nasa stands na. So that way, there is ample time for the magazine to be sold out. Kasi kung ang dating ng magazine sa newsstand or sa mga bookstores where it is being sold is midway of the month, like for example, September issue, darating ng September 15, they only have 2 weeks to sell out that magazine. And the reason why that's not ideal, it's because sino ang bibili ng September issue kung malapit na, kung October na at ilang linggo na lang, 1 linggo, 2 linggo na lang, lalabas na yung October na issue. So, these are the things that needs to be understood, especially on the way that fashion weeks work, because it affects yung production and yung lead time ng production ng clothes and production ng mga magazines.